We also ask that you watch over and guide our country's leaders. In Jesus' name I pray. Now, guys, if you're able, Nancy, pledge allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I will now call for the city council meeting to order and ask our clerk to take roll call.
Councilor Brosper-Ganera.
Here.
Councilor Carroll.
Here.
Councilor Chenoweth. Here. Councilor Hinchman is absent. Councilor Kearns is absent. Councilor Lowther is absent. Councilor Pliszka.
Here.
Councilor Severino.
Here.
Councilor Thompson is absent. And Councilor Woods.
Here.
We have 6 present. You have a quorum.
Thank you. And anyone here for public comment tonight? My public comment is the reason I said that for me, because she had surgery and is unable to stand, so that's why.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Mayor.
Okay, down to the minutes portion, I will entertain a motion to accept the minutes from the March 5th meeting as presented. You have a motion. Are there any questions or comments? If none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion carries. Now for the minutes from the March 11th meeting, I will also entertain a motion to accept them.
So moved.
We have a motion. Any questions or comments?
I'm really glad we did that meeting. That was very informative.
If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion carries. Under your correspondence, you said the mayor's proclamations, the approved event request, the building officers' reports, and the Elkins Tree Board 2025 annual report. So we'll start now with the council reports and start with Councilor Chenoweth.
Finance Committee met March 9th, had a long meeting going over the general fund budget, which we'll obviously discuss tonight. That's basically it.
Thank you, sir. Councilor Hinchman is not here. Councilor Pliszka.
No report.
Thank you. Councilor Brosper-Ganera.
Yes. First, I'd just like to mention last week I read an obituary for a woman named Lois Klingerman. And one of the things that really impressed me was talking about her Sunday suppers and also how she used to have pepperoni rolls that she would hand out to sanitation workers. And I thought, what a sweet woman that was. And it made me realize, as we go through life, we have to be thinking about what's going to be written about us in our obituaries. But I'd just like to really say that she sounds like a wonderful woman, and if that kind of generosity was shared throughout the community, what an even better place this would be. And then secondly, there's just a few highlights on the tree board report that I'd really like to share. Because we have a really strong active tree board, and some of the numbers stand out to us. Every year we continue to have more volunteer hours. This year there were 800 volunteer hours, and that really helps when we're doing grants because that translates into money. The tree board's able to provide professional assistance to residents regarding their trees, and we did several reports on that. Today, thank goodness, we just finished a $12,000 grant, putting in the final paperwork, and that had resulted in 8 trees in City Park and 50 trees that were pruned in all our parks. So we're really making sure that our urban canopy is healthy and thriving. And I've already started the process for a $20,000 grant to remove hazardous trees in City Park and invasive trees in Riverbend. So we work really closely with Parks and Rec, and because of these grants, that's $32,000 right there that we've saved the city in tree care and maintenance. Some of the things that we have coming up that aren't in the report, we'll be planting 2 oak trees at the Gaynor Center, and the oak tree is the nation's tree, and that will be part of our recognition of the 250th anniversary. And that has been, that's thanks to a collaborative with Mon Power Tree Lines. We work with them a lot as well. Our lecture series started, and we had about 40 people at our first lecture. Our next lecture is April 1, and it's going to be fabulous with Wonder and Grow. So I hope will have a moment to attend that. We really are appreciative to all the volunteers who help us, to all the support that we get from the city administration, and to all those who donate to the tree board. I mean, it's just like a birthday present every time Tracy says we get another donation. So we just want to share our appreciation to the city for all their support. If anybody has any questions?
I enjoyed, well, looking at this as a vector is great because that little tree walk map, I could zoom all the way on it. I didn't realize the trees downtown were different. I assumed they were like mostly honey locust. So to look and see all the different ones, I was like, that's kind of cool. So now I have something to pay attention to in the spring.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That was part of the celebration of finishing that project. And I think that tree map is on I think so. I think it's on our webpage for the tree board. I'll check with Leon. But they have copies of it at the visitor center, and we sort of shared that with that whole initiative to get kids outside, the no screen thing is something that you can do with your kids downtown and learn more about the trees.
The map is on the page.
It is? That's what I thought. Thank you.
Anything else?
No, thank you.
Thank you very much. Counselor Woods.
No report.
Thank you. Counselor Severino.
No report.
Counselor Carroll.
The planning commission met this week? It all feels like a blender. Last week. And the clerk will have more information about the comprehensive plan draft that will get circulated likely tomorrow to council, and then the process, how it will move forward. But it's exciting.
Yeah, that's great.
Thank you very much. Okay, down to our officer reports. We will start with our city treasurer, Ms. Judy.
Good evening. In your packet, you have the bank balances as of February 28th. Also in there, in 2018, we contracted with Datamax to find businesses who were doing work inside city limits who were not licensed or paying B&O taxes. Through February of 2026, they have found $500,971.88 in license and B&O tax revenues. Their contract is they get 50% of that the first 2 years that they get them, and they go back 5 years and if they've been in business that long and get that money, and then the city from there on gets 100% of that money. So this company is doing great things for us. They also have a section where they're doing collections for us for utility billing, and has been seeing some increases in that, and people can set up payment plans with them or come in and pay us. Jennifer Shreed, my deputy treasurer, she handles all of that, and that is working well. Had a conference call with them. We're looking at potentially a couple more things that they may be able to do. If it's found that we can do that, it's probably a year out, and I'll bring it to you all at that point in time. Of course, you have resolutions 1901 and 1902, the general fund and coal severance budgets are both balanced for fiscal year 2027. Resolution 1903 is the PEIA increases, a 5% increase, and then the HSA contribution staying the same. So the city will be absorbing 100% of the PEIA increases as well. Also, I didn't have a chance to get it in the packet, but at your area here, I left a letter from Mountain Valley Bank, where back on March the 12th, I had requested to Doug Weiss, the president of Mountain Valley Bank, to look at 8 of our accounts that we have with them, and requested that they are asked to increase the interest rates that we have on those accounts to what we are currently getting on our pooled cash account. So the bank has graciously agreed to that. So the rates are increasing anywhere from 2.15 to 2.5%. So I'm very pleased with that, and pleased that we have a good partner with them. And I think that's all. Oh, no. I did receive a copy of our draft, or a draft of our audit. Everything looks really well. I had the mayor sign off on 2 things, and once I get that back to them, I would anticipate I'll have the copies of the audit at the next council meeting on April the 9th. And I plan on being out of the office all next week, so if you need anything, you can contact Jennifer in my office. And that's all I
Great.
have.
Any questions for Tracy?
And Tracy, just on the interest rates on those accounts,
Yes.
the maybe for the public's understanding, what's the significance of that interest rate change?
Well, some of the accounts don't have a lot of funds in them. But as an example, where the bank increased our rate on our pooled cash account over 2.5 to 3 years, it was almost $500,000. That's a major account that we have because of a lot of the funds go into that. I would expect, looking at these accounts, the ones that will gain the most interest will be our sewer and water O&M accounts, because each of those enterprise funds are required to put 12.5% of their operating costs every month into that. And really can't touch that unless there's an extreme emergency. And then the depreciation account, 2.5% has to go in from their revenues. Their monthly revenues go into the depreciation account. And then, of course, the financial stabilization account would be probably our 3rd largest.
Mhm.
So as long as we can keep that build up, we should see a nice return on that as well. And I'll report that maybe a year out to show how those increases have helped.
Cool. Any other questions for Tracy? If not, our operations manager, Mr. Kessinger. But before you start, Mike, I'm going to thank you personally for myself and for Augusta for having the street department move the bench.
Oh.
They were trying to move building materials inside. It was kind of in the way, so it was kind of a public safety hazard for me.
Yep.
They moved it across the street, and I talked to Eric last week, and he's so appreciative of that. So
No, anytime
Appreciate
somebody
that.
needs something like that moved, just reach out to us, and especially if you have work going on in your area and there's something that is just inconvenient, we can move it pretty quick.
well, as they were carrying building materials, and one guy was walking backwards, I'm like, this could end like real bad.
Absolutely. We're all they gotta do is give us a phone call, reach out to someone and contact us, we'll get it moved. So yeah,
Appreciate that.
glad to do that. Good evening, everyone. Pretty basic report from me tonight. Sanitation department continues to do a tremendous job. I want to thank Leon personally. He gets with Melody and Shanna at the end of each month and updates any changes that might happen with the schedule for the following month. So it's posted online and the citizens can see that, so there's no confusion there. Just urge citizens to always check that page to make sure, if there's holidays during the month, it'll explain what the sanitation department's doing. There are some the holidays the sanitation department does not take, and they just work right through it. So avoids confusion. Street department doing a really good job. They've been running the street sweeper as weather permits still. It's not street sweeping season just yet, but we're getting close. DOH has reached out to us every year in the spring when they clean the sidewalks off. We go behind them with the street sweeper and get the debris off the streets that they sweep into the streets. So if you see the street sweeper running around behind a state road truck, that's what's going on. We're just helping them out. Street department stormwater unit has cleaned 82 catch basins, first ward. So we're really preparing for spring weather. Any wet weather we get, it'll help prevent any type of flooding. We're just doing it first, second, third, fourth, right down the line. So they've got 82 in the first ward, and they should be starting in the second ward next week.
When you finish the 5th ward, you have to start the first.
But by the time we get done, it'll be time to start back over.
I just wanted to.
Exactly. But yeah, so the guys are doing a tremendous job trying to stay ahead of things there. And they're also going to be out on the street sweeper routes, removing debris, brushes, any type of brush or shrubs that's in the way of the street sweeper. Make sure the driver can get to the proper areas on the routes that he's taking. So if you see them out doing that, that's what they're doing there. City Hall update is removing all old electric panels and all the old wiring off the 3rd floor currently. we joked in our leadership team meeting today. I told the fire chief and he cringed. I was joking, by the way. Told him I was operating by candlelight in the third floor office right now, but I do have one working electrical outlet. So I do have a light. I'm not operating off candlelight. So if you see me walk in with a lantern, you'll know we got problems. But they're doing that, really making progress up there. CityNet was at City Hall earlier this week and installed their utility. Craig was there, assisted him with that, went fairly smooth from what I can understand. We did conduct our pre-bid walkthrough for the new security system. It was not a mandatory pre-bid meeting, but we still had a very good turnout. And I think that only helps us in the long run because that might drive some costs down, we're hoping. So the bid opening will be next week on Monday. Keystone, the company that is ordered the contract to do the masonry work and the cleaning of the exterior building, showed up Monday before the snowstorm, got all their stuff in place. But they have been working, and I will tell you this, behind City Hall where the loading dock was, and they've demolished part of it, they just have the concrete floor to do. If you walk under there and look at the ceiling they have installed on that, it is phenomenal. It is phenomenal. It's going to look so good. They've done a tremendous job there. They continue to work on the outside of the building. Building progress is going well. Other than that, we have a bid opening next on the 24th for 3 properties for demolition. Other than that, that is all I have to report unless anyone has any questions for me.
Any questions for me?
I do. I know this is like your Achilles heel, but when I was looking at some of the documents that we'll be looking at later, I saw something that said if we're not in by August 31st, we lose funding. Do we have we will be in City Hall by?
We will be in City Hall by August 31st. We've told the contractors July 31st.
Okay.
And they told us not a problem.
Do we currently have anything that could potentially set us back that we'd miss that deadline?
No, the only, I don't want to say delay, the slowest portion of the building now is obviously the elevator. That's the slowest portion. But in talking with Otis, the elevator company, emails from them, we are not concerned with your deadline. So we have no reason to question them at this point. As we get closer, if we feel we do, we will put the heat on them. But what I can tell you is this: the parts that we're doing now, for example, the mayor's suite, is almost completely painted and done. All it needs is carpet. 3rd floor, my conference room, Melody's office, Shanna's office, painted. We need carpet. My office, literally, I'm still operating out of it. So when they finally tell me, listen, you got to go because we need to work in your office, then I'll have to find somewhere to go. But we're moving along well. Some things that we thought we were going to do that we aren't going to do now simply because of State Historic Preservation Office and National Park Services that'll be less time consuming is we were going to put a whole new ceiling in council chambers. Well, we know we can't do that now because we'll lose the tax credits.
Right.
So that saves time there that they can move to different parts of the project. So at this time, I'm not concerned about the August 31st deadline. And trust me when I tell you, if at any time I feel concerned about that deadline, this collective group will be the first to know. And that's when I would also reach out to our city attorney and we'll put heat on people that need to have heat put on them and we'll move forward.
Mike, since we can't lower the ceilings, are there any way to put anything on the walls?
Yes, we can absolutely do that. Yes, absolutely. Now,
are we
what we
looking
are
to do
going to do, the square panels,
Right.
we're going to put new ones up. So that will help
Right.
as well. But yeah, we can put stuff on the walls. That won't affect it because it's not a permanent fixture. And
Because the sound in there is
horrible.
bad. I mean,
It's horrible,
the
yeah.
acoustics are
No,
terrible.
agree. And that's why we were hoping we could bring the ceiling
Right.
down a little bit, put a modern ceiling in it. The interesting thing that they're allowing us to do that really threw us for a loop is we can't put a new ceiling in, but we can put new lights in. And it's like, I was shocked by that, honestly. But nonetheless, the panels on the walls, we can definitely do that because that's stuff we can take down. It's not a permanent change to the room. So I think we can really work at the acoustics in there once we get the project done. that would be something outside of the project that we can do. And I know we had looked into it in the past, and I think it's
Jeremy had gotten a
it's
quote.
pretty economical, so, yeah, we can definitely do what we need to do to do
Historic
that.
pictures or something.
I was disappointed in that because I really thought the lower ceiling would help.
That would help a lot, yeah.
So, but that was them saying, you want tax credits? Don't do that. Okay.
Easiest.
Give and take, I guess. So, yeah, that's my report for the week.
Any other questions for Mike tonight? If not, our fire chief, Steve Hines.
I just have a couple things. Year-to-date incident count, we're at 131. We took advantage of the good weather last week to start
Both days.
hose testing. No, we had 4 days. We were able to get annual hose testing started, and we're making really good progress in about 4 days. Got about 80% done and had a breakdown with the hose tester, so we're waiting on parts. I was hoping it was gonna be finished by this Monday, so we'll get that done hopefully within the next couple of weeks. Foam system went in today. It was not left with an instruction manual, so we're figuring out how things actually work. So if we inadvertently hang up on you, it was not intentional. But,
Travis, thank you for not commenting.
I'm trying really hard here.
I know you are.
I'm sure you are. And I did get a phone call this afternoon for hopefully a meeting in the next 3 weeks over the potential repair to the back wall. So when that gent comes to town, Mike and I will get with him and see where we go from there. That's about it.
Any questions for Steve tonight? If not, our chief of police, Travis Center.
Wow.
He only wishes.
It was the looks indicator if I had to do this. So.
Good evening, everybody. I've only got a couple things also. Next week, we'll be participating in the career fair for the technical center along with other city departments. That's always seems like a good time to go out and talk to the people about what we do. When we first got our body cams through Motorola 3 years ago, I believe, part of that deal was that throughout the course that we had those, we would get upgraded with the latest version of those. We just fielded those this week. So we've got all brand new body cams, a little bit more functionality, but kind of the same system. They operate the same way. There's very little training to go along with, very little learning curve to go along with it, but a better setup. So we're thankful to have
But not an
those.
increased cost, correct?
What's that?
But not an increased cost, correct?
No, that's all. It's all included with what
I
we're
want
already
to
paying.
point that out, that's it.
And the only other thing that I have is just for public awareness. I found this out about an hour ago. There is a Facebook post going around from it looks like a search and rescue group that is, their post is saying that the Elkins Police Department is coordinating a search party for Saturday for the elderly woman who's missing in our area. It is actually the Elkins detachment of the West Virginia State Police that is handling this case and coordinating that search party. So any questions or anything need to be referred to them and not called into us. That's all I have unless anybody has questions.
Any questions for Travis tonight? If not, our city clerk, Mr. Stokes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The ongoing story with getting towards issuing TIF bonds, we're still not quite there with ready to proceed through the committee process that'd be necessary. Our advisors are still trying to really drill into the numbers and just make sure they have the best understanding so that the bonds would be sized correctly. But that's just an ongoing conversation between them and the county assessor, who's been very, very helpful providing everything that's been asked for. So I hope to have a more substantial progress update for that soon, and it will be soon. As Councilor Carroll mentioned, the stage of initial preparation of the comprehensive plan draft by the Planning Commission completed last week. The WVU planning consultant that the commission has been working with, has actually just sent me back the draft that incorporated everything. And she's also sent a PowerPoint that summarizes kind of the changes and update. So that's going to come around to council within the next day or so. I just have to review the PowerPoint. I haven't had a chance to yet. But the goal will be to circulate that among council for kind of informal feedback with a deadline of April 3rd, and this will all be in writing too. Then there'll be another informal public presentation, April 16th, here at the Phil Gaynor Center at 6 p.m. And I'm calling that informal feedback because once the formal adoption process starts, then there are these moments where there's an official hearing, and if at that point the draft that had started the adoption process, if everyone realized, oh, we really need to insert a new chapter and make a large change, then that would have to go back to the planning commission and that adoption process would have to restart. So the idea with this informal input is just to, cast a wide net and get any big ideas that the people want to suggest on the front end. But then once that period is over, the goal right now would be at the planning commission's regular meeting of May 14th, they would make any decisions about those sorts of changes and then vote to begin the official adoption process. And then there's several dates along the way of notice periods and their hearing and then council's hearing and all that. So we'll update once that's firmer, but that would basically put us in the summer for potentially council making a final adoption of that. There are interviews scheduled for the HR position tomorrow, so looking forward to that. And did just want to mention, I'm sure Mayor Marco will mention it as well, but he talked me into coming along to the National League of Cities Capital City Conference in Washington at the beginning of this week. And very interesting, always, it's always great to get in the room with other people who do this kind of work. One, you realize that so many issues that feel very narrow and specific are a lot more universal. You also hear about a range of other cities that some of which seem to function amazingly well. Some of them make you thankful that some of the personalities you hear about really aren't here. And one thing I always come back from these kind of gatherings with a sense of is what a strong performing team our elected officials are and the staff that just really, it's noticeable sometimes the contrast with some of the stories that you do hear at these gatherings. But overall, very positive.
Absolutely.
Had a chance to talk to the West Virginia delegation in Congress, 2 members, and I'll leave more of that to the mayor later. But that's all I was going to report right now, and happy to take any questions.
Any questions for Sutton?
I just had a question on the downtown sound sound system. Is there any talk of it being wireless, or have we even gotten that far?
It would really just be, I think what we would do is describe the characteristics that we're looking for and release an RFP, and then see what comes back.
Okay.
And that would, I'm sure something like that could be on the table, might affect cost.
Oh, yeah.
But I think that would kind of be that's what seems like the approach that Eric's going to suggest. So.
Oh, okay. Great.
Any other questions? If not, we will move down to the approval of the vendor invoice payments, and I will entertain a motion to accept the invoices as presented.
I know.
I'm trying to beat everybody because I never can.
Usually that's like henchmen as well.
That's his job.
Okay, we have a motion. Any questions or comments? If none, all those in favor say aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion carries. New business, ordinance 351, amending the city code section 71.53, parking in downtown alleys. This is the final reading. I will entertain a motion to accept this. Okay, we have a motion. Any questions or comments or further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion carries. Resolution 1898, reappointing the city attorney for a 1-year term beginning April 1st. I will entertain a motion to accept, please.
So moved.
We have a motion. Any questions or comments?
I think it's just wonderful how valuable this relationship is and how long-standing it is. And I think I think we all should be very grateful for this.
Absolutely. The historical knowledge she brings alone
Gosh.
is tremendous.
Yes.
Any other questions or comments? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion carries. Jerry, I know you're watching, so congratulations and thank you for wanting to work with us again.
And I'm sorry.
Sorry, I missed you.
Perfect.
Councilor Woods.
Yes. Resolution 1899, transferring $125,000 from the financial stabilization to the fire fund, $100,000, and okay, what is this, $100,000? And of the Parks and Rec Commission, okay, I'm sick. Let me start over on this one. We're transferring $125,000 from the financial stabilization, $100,000 to the fire fund, and $25,000 to the Parks and Rec Commission. I will entertain a motion to accept this.
So moved.
We have a motion. Any questions or comments?
Can we get a little explanation on that one?
Well, let's see, we'll start with fire. So back in 2015, the fire fees were implemented for the first due area. And there has been no increase in those fire fees. We're in basically year 11 now. As we all know, especially after COVID, costs have risen. And the general fund's going to have to start propping them up a little bit if there's no change in increase in the fire fees. And for Parks and Rec, kind of the same scenario for the last 5 years. They've received flat funding from the city. And of course, they get 50% of the hotel tax. So they're needing some money to get through the end of the year. So this 25,000 will assist them in getting to that because they have lost funding from other sources. And in the part of the outside contribution this year for the general fund, we're going to be increasing the total amount between hotel tax and what the general fund is by another $40,000 to assist them.
Cool.
And they have 4 employees now. Is that correct, Chris?
Yeah.
Yes, 4 employees. Yeah. And plus, I'm sorry,
Oh, you're fine.
I just thought of one other thing. And plus, the manager for the Phil Gaynor Center is paid out of parks as well.
Thank you for the explanation. Any other questions or comments?
As we go forward, I know we're reallocating funds for the fire department, but what is the longevity of just transferring money every year from general funds to support the fire department? What does that look like, or
Just
what are our options that,
the option, if we don't do that and don't fund them, would be raise the fire fees. Because they're required, am I correct, to cover that area, the first due area, which is 150 square mile area.
Any other questions? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion carries. Since Mr. Lally just walked in, I'm going to go back to council reports and say, do you have anything to add, sir?
Municipal Properties was canceled. We had a Parks and Rec meeting last night. Month-to-month business, but I would like to congratulate O and Pete on winning Young Leader of the Year at the Chamber Dinner tonight.
Oh,
That's all I have.
nice.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for allowing me to pause our new business here. Resolution 1900, authorizing a waiver of potential conflict of interest concerning Altice for the limited purpose of legal consultation regarding a tax credit matter. I will entertain a motion to accept, please.
So moved.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Just get a
Good.
little
yeah.
For the assisting.
I reached out to Ms. Roberts to ask if she really want to weigh in on this. I had not heard back from her. In general, and we have another attorney in the room, but the firm that the city is working with on the tax credit project, or the tax credits for City Hall, that same firm, other attorneys at that firm represent Altice, as they put it, in a matter potentially adverse to the city, meaning they may be representing Altice wanting to do something the city doesn't want them to do. And so this firm has to report to you that this that these two different interests are being handled by the same firm, and request you to waive that conflict. In other words, express that you're not worried about it. And there's a letter attached to the resolution that explains that and lays out all of those terms. Jerry was the one who forwarded it. She clearly, seemed to consider it routine, and she didn't say that she wanted to weigh in on it.
If I can add,
Does that sound?
I spoke with Jerry about it as well, and she actually went through and we highlighted a few bullets in the letter that the company provided. And in my discussion with her, she didn't feel like it would be such a far reach because of what the conflict would be, that there just doesn't seem to be any issue that would ever arise from this. It's just simply they had to tell us before proceeding forward, hey, part of our company is representing, and it's a franchise matter for television franchise agreements is what it is.
That's the adverse matter.
That's the adverse matter. The adverse matter is franchise agreements for multiple municipalities regarding franchise agreements for cable television. So totally unrelated to historic tax credits for city hall.
Here's Ms. Roberts.
Well, and I will tell you my impression from reading the letter is that there's nothing to worry about. Assuming that this is probably also the best attorney we have to work on this matter.
Right.
I would assume there aren't others. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, Jerry.
You're on speaker.
Okay,
Yes.
all right. So, when I reached out to Amy Cadaris, who's the attorney at Frost Brown that is going to be assisting with tax credit funding, she forwarded that to me and basically said they do work for Maltese. They are aware that the city has a franchise agreement with them. She doesn't see a conflict, but she is obligated, since her firm does represent them, that to make us aware of it and allow counsel to pass on. I don't see any potential problem. I think if indeed there'd be a conflict, it would be the kind you would waive anyway. I did not realize that firm represented Maltese because that is not who we've dealt with in the past, but companies change their minds, and now that's apparently their counsel. So I would recommend approving the waiver.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? And thank you, Jerry.
Yep.
You're most welcome. Sorry, I tried something. That's why I called you, Mayor.
Oh, you're fine.
Okay.
I don't know the answer. It's funny.
I wasn't sure most people silence their phone in a meeting, so I wasn't sure anybody would.
Oh, great.
Okay. Any other
Thanks
questions or
again.
comments?
Nope.
None. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. All right, Jerry, I'm gonna hang up now. Thank you so much.
Okay. Oh, before you do, Mayor.
Yes.
My thanks to council for reapproving my appointment. Much appreciated, and I'm delighted that they have this kind of confidence in me. And thank you. And I will hang up too. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, Councilor Thompson, since you're a little bit late, I gave Mr. Lowther an opportunity to give any reports. Do you have any reports?
Well, nothing major, but we do plan on starting interviews tomorrow for the HR position. Nothing definitive with that, preliminary, but hopefully we'll have some more information on that soon, and that's all for now.
All right, thank you. Okay, resolution 1901, approving the fiscal year 2027 general fund budget. I will entertain a motion to accept, please. We have a motion, and this is a roll call vote, so I will ask our clerk to take.
Hold on, I have some
Are there any
questions.
questions or comments?
Okay, so I just wanted to make sure. So on the HR budget, and I'm looking at the documents from the meeting last week, does that salary and wages in that budget just cover one person, or is that a budget for
Payroll
two?
clerk as well.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Cool. And is that person, the payroll clerk, split between the treasurer's budget and the HR budget, or is it whole?
That's all in it.
Okay. Cool. And is that somebody we have will hire in the future? That's the person that's working on payroll now.
That's the person
Okay.
who's been working in payroll now.
Cool. And then I think the other one, hold on, I'm trying to find my notes. I went back through and just wanted to make sure I fully understood. And then in the mayor's budget on the salaries and wages, that $61,000 is that the
That's
executive
including
secretary?
IT. That's including IT.
That's
Okay, and is that hiring a new person, or is that
No,
is
it's
that,
using Dwayne, that's what you approved to use Dwayne underneath that for the IT portion of it.
and is that like, I think I was trying to understand is he like kind of at this point, since because that scope of that work was like this initial documentation and like building policies and procedures, is there an expectation that at some point that wanes once systems are in and he's maybe working 4 or 5 hours a week instead of?
It'll probably transition to someone else. We'll end up hiring someone else.
Okay.
To maintain that. So the initial phase of that was the assessment. That's what we presented at the last council meeting.
Okay.
Now he's going to form the plan so that we can execute the plan going forward, as he explained.
Okay.
And so his salary is included in that mayor's office
He
salary.
works a certain amount of hours for Wes, and then he works the rest of it for me, and that's what that portion is.
And so between those two, he's working like 40 hours a week, or?
Yes.
Okay. So there's no like overtime in that, that's just like.
Occasionally there is going to be some overtime. I mean, probably for the water more than it would be for me.
Okay, okay. I was just trying to like.
Wes and I have worked that out.
Okay. Cool.
Is that accurate, Tracy?
I guess it depends on when he does work for the city and not for water, because if it's toward the end of the week and those hours go into overtime, then it would be on the city.
But we've kind of talked about that. Wes and I have an agreement on that because it shouldn't be, all the overtime falls on my office because I need him as well, so we've agreed to split time. So all the overtime shouldn't fall in one office, is what my point is.
Well,
It depends
I
on the work-
understand that,
It depends on
but
the work that he's doing.
But I guess it's when he's doing that work,
Correct.
based on,
Right.
because
if
anything
he
over
needs to
40
work-
hours,
if-
yeah.
If he needs to work on IT at the beginning of the week, then,
Yes,
so we go to Wes.
correct,
Yes.
yes. Mhm.
We worked it out, so we're good.
Okay, yeah, because I was trying to understand, because essentially that number to me looks like a full-time position, and if he's got a full-time water job, and that's what I was trying to compute, like how
That may be
one
mine
human
as well.
can do all
Mine may
that.
be combined
Okay.
as well, so,
No, that's 20 hours, based on 20 hours a week.
yes.
Okay,
The mayor's salary falls under official salary.
okay,
It's an
yeah,
elected position,
Mhm.
and then the IT is under salary and wages.
okay. Thank you, Tracy.
You're welcome.
Were there any changes from our work session we had?
No,
No, okay.
no.
So when you're talking about the mayor's budget, when I'm looking through and it says mayor city tax revenues, there's an expenditure and it says there's one new part-time position in the mayor's budget. What was,
That's the IT position.
and it says the court clerk position will be absorbed internally due to revenues and expenditures.
Yes, if you recall, maybe in the previous council meeting, revenues are way down. And that position has been open for 4
In the
months. Court, yes, for court. That opening has been there for 4 months. And to hire someone at 25 hours with full benefits would really put that budget more to 140 to 150,000 when we're, as of right now, bringing in less than $15,000. So it just, it was talked about being absorbed with the judge.
So who's absorbing it?
It would be out of the general fund if that goes through. Yeah, it would have to come out, it would have to be a person in the general fund.
So when you say $15,000 in revenue, is that from, where is that from? The 15,000?
It comes from tickets that are written
The
and
only-
paid for,
the-
not tickets
And paid for.
that are,
Yeah.
that are paid for.
That paid.
Court will never be, and has never been expected to be a high revenue stream
It could
coming
never
in.
be an enterprise fund realistically.
No.
I mean, it could not be.
Years ago, probably 7 or 8 years ago, the city used to have 2 part-time judges. They would work one would work every other week, basically.
Understood.
And they would be in the office on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 2 to 4. We currently have a judge that works 5 days a week, 5 hours a day.
So Travis, will this affect your department? If it does, how will it affect it? If this position goes away? I assume this would impact you directly
Yeah,
or?
it's not really our department.
No.
Okay.
We really.
Because I would they said ticketing, so that's why I was,
No, their revenue comes from ticketing, but as far as our operations, it really doesn't. If we need something from the court, as long as they're on call, that would be fine. I mean, as long as if we need somebody arraigned or we need a warrant issued or something like that, then they have that on-call time. That really wouldn't really affect our operation.
Yeah, and it's, right now, it's not eliminating the judge. It was eliminating the court clerk position that's going to be absorbed. Does that make sense?
yeah, but who's going to be processing because the judge is not going to process that paperwork? That's my question. If we eliminate the clerk's position, who's going to process that
Well,
documentation?
If it's allowed to be done internally, then that position would be absorbed by some other employee in the general fund.
Would be shared between their current position.
In other words, you would have an employee in one department that would work in that department and also dedicate some of his or her hours to that position as well to reduce the cost of a 25-hour-a-week position.
And we had that in the past.
Okay. This is just for my information. So when do we have to pay full benefits to somebody? Because I know like nationwide, 30 or 32 hours is considered a full-time employee where they have to be given benefits.
I think currently we're doing that because of something that was stated to us years ago by PEIA. They consider a full-time position anybody over 20 hours a week.
So by absorbing this with someone who's already a full-time employee, not only do you save the total salary of the position, you're also saving on benefits because that employee's already drawing those benefits because they're a full-time employee. If a full-time employee's interested.
Right, I understand.
By saying that.
I understand absorbing and trying to save costs, but when you're looking at somebody, is that person that's going to be as assigned duties, are they going to be knowledgeable enough to do everything that we need them to do? That would be my question.
Well, I would say this, we've had to train everyone, 1, 2, 3, 4, I know of 5 that have come in with no knowledge in the last probably 7
I
years.
think it'd be the same,
Yeah.
it would be the same as any position. If someone at anyone's department were to leave and you bring someone in, there's a training period for anyone. I think no matter what position we hire, we have training periods for people, and I think the right candidate would pick up on it fairly well.
And they also have to get state training.
Yes.
I think they have to.
Yeah, and I actually
There's
have,
periodic state training.
I have an employee in my office who served as court clerk, but because there is a relationship between the two, we had to stop that. Just because she
Understood.
could not, yes.
Understood.
So, yeah.
I just want to make sure that we're not eliminating something because we're just eliminating. I just want to make sure that we have somebody that is knowledgeable, able to pick up in the event we need something done.
They have to be trained just like anybody brand new coming in.
Any other questions? If none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. I'm sorry, roll call, sorry.
Oopsie.
Yeah, new requirement, the auditor wants a roll call vote for passing the budget, so, let's see.
Oh, and I will call out, I'm really excited in this budget, the additional funding for Country Roads Transit. And for those of you that weren't at the budget work session, I think one of the most important things is recognizing the change in contribution to the airport authority. And then recognizing that in terms of like, what is the best use, one of the best uses of the outside contributions in terms of like improving quality of life and providing opportunity for people is investing in public transit. And so I think that's a reasonable decision. And I think Councilor Lowther followed up with the folks there, and maybe we'll hear more in the future about.
Yeah, I'd emailed her on Friday to ask some additional questions, and she's supposed to get some information back to me.
So I feel like we're doing something really good there.
Shall I call the roll?
Yes, sir.
Counselor Bross-Ferganera.
Yes.
Counselor Carroll.
Yes.
Counselor Chenoweth.
Yes.
Counselor Lowther.
Yes.
Counselor Pliszka.
Yes.
Counselor Severino.
Yes.
Counselor Thompson.
Yes.
And Counselor Woods.
Yes.
8 yeses, motion carries.
Thank you. Resolution 1902, approving the fiscal year 2027 coal severance budget. I will entertain a motion to accept, please. We have a motion. Are there any questions? questions or comments? If not, this is also a roll call vote. I will ask our clerk to take roll.
Counselor Bros-Ferganera.
Yes?
Counselor Carroll.
Yes.
Counselor Chenoweth.
Yes.
Counselor Lowther.
Yes.
Counselor Pliszka.
Yes.
Counselor Severino.
Yes.
Counselor Thompson.
Yes.
Counselor Woods.
Yes.
8 yeses.
Thank you. Resolution 1903, approving the city contribution towards fiscal year 2027 PEIA costs. I will entertain a motion to accept, please. So moved. Rob's on fire. Are there any other questions or discussion?
So in terms of, I guess, clarity for city employees, this next year's plan, there's not necessarily any significant change on their part unless they're selecting another PEI plan.
Yes, if they would, the city has adopted Plan C. If they would decide to go to Plan A or Plan B, they would have to pay that difference out of their pocket, which would be significant.
Any other questions or comments? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion carries. Okay, down to mayor's comments. I will keep this brief because, as you know, it is March Madness, my second favorite time of the year.
We have no comments on the financing options, is that?
That got, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, we got
Yeah,
removed.
it's not
Okay, just wanna make sure.
on the agenda.
Okay.
That's that email, the treasurer.
Yeah, I was just getting ready to say, I sent an email.
Oh, okay.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, as Sutton mentioned, we were in DC earlier in the week and we met with Senator Capito and Congressman Riley Moore. Very, very good meetings. They've been very supportive of Elkins in the past with congressionally directed funding, which they changed the name again to,
Community project funds?
I think so, yes. So right when I get comfortable with what they call them, they change the name. So I just rather say earmarks. It's just so much easier that way. So, like I said, they're always very hospitable to us. They love to know what's going on. They want updates. They ask really, really good questions, dynamic conversations. So I feel like we're in a positive light when it comes to our representatives in DC right now. So we're very well respected. So I want to thank this council for that and our employees, because the employees make it happen. Now that the weather may be breaking for the better, unless we get another freak snowstorm, as I'm walking around, and I mentioned last time about these streets and how they look, we probably should entertain another council cleanup. Nancy, I hope your report will get better than that. So,
I'll supervise.
I'm gonna ask Michaela-
You're running away.
And a golf cart.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I'll ask Michaela to send out a email to you guys and see what dates are available, and the public is welcome to join us. Once we select a date, we'll put it out there, and we go through and just pick up trash around the area that's blown through over the winter, and it makes the community look a lot better. So, like I said, it's something we enjoy doing, so do me a favor, talk to your friends and your family out there and try to get them out to pick up trash and put it away. And your guys do a fantastic job about picking up the green bags for us, so we like that. So, other than that, I have nothing else. Do me a favor, be careful going home. Yeah, you need to-